Anniversary day. My fiancé left me behind to spend his birthday with his ex-girlfriend. The wedding room I designed with my own hands became their exclusive space. Later, I took my bamboo horse's hand, attended their engagement party, and he said, "As long as you're willing, I can cancel the engagement party." I laughed. I thought, being blind once is enough. I don't need another one. I've been with Nathan for 3 years. I can't say I know him completely, but we do know each other. That day, he accompanied me to go shopping, always frowning along the way. He seemed to have something he wanted to say but couldn't. He kept looking down at his cell phone. He seemed a bit distracted. "What's wrong?" Is not very anxious. He stood still. There was a slight pause. "I have a cooperation project that requires me to travel for 2 days. The partner has been urging me. I won't be able to spend my anniversary with you today." I looked at Nathan and said, "But we've been scheduled for a long time. I haven't heard anything particularly important about you lately. I haven't heard of any particularly important collaborations you've had to talk about lately. You have to go. No one else can. And we're scheduled to try on wedding dresses tomorrow." His attitude is obvious. I couldn't quite accept that he suddenly said he had something to do at this time. I asked, "Nathan, are you lying to me?" He obviously didn't expect me to ask that. He froze for a moment. He said a little aggressively, "How could you miss me so much?" "In order to spend more time with you. I've stayed at the company almost every day for the past few months. Just want to properly prepare for our wedding." He looked very angry. "This cooperation is very crucial. If it's a success, you don't need to look for funds for the project now. I will also have more time to spend with you in the future." He didn't expect it. Getting angry now is completely in vain. In addition to making me more sure of the speculation in my heart, nothing useful. "Then you go." I adjusted my emotions, smiled at him. His tone eased. "Sophia, we'll have many more anniversaries to come. Don't worry when I come back. We'll try on wedding dresses. I'll keep you company." He left me alone at the mall. He left first. He didn't think about it. I usually argue with him when things don't go my way. How could I let him go so easily this time? He just thought. What he said stabilized me. I took a cab home, leaning on the sofa for a while. The light overhead was warm and bright, but it couldn't dispel the chill inside me. If it wasn't for the photo sent by that woman, I probably wouldn't have realized there was something wrong with Nathan even after I got married. 3 days ago, Nathan said he had to go on a business trip again in the evening. I received a WeChat friend request. Intuition told me it might not be good. After I agreed to the application, the other party sent a photo. In the photo, Nathan was leaning on a woman's bare shoulder, eyes closed and asleep. In the dim light, you can vaguely see the marks left on her shoulder. He complains that you are too hard to serve. Tantrums like Missy. You get angry when you move. He won't let him near you. I asked her who she was, but she didn't reply again. I opened her friend's circle and looked at it, and found that none of the photos in it were frontal shots, but I could recognize them. The person in every photo was Nathan in the photo. He was on the bed with his hands clasped together, wearing the same engagement ring on his hand as me. And there's another one in front of a floor-to-ceiling window, his broad back, wearing a dress I customized just for him. The accompanying text reads, "He said this was the room for me." I couldn't be more familiar with the background in the photo. It was the wedding room I designed with my own hands. I suddenly felt short of breath. There was a blackness in front of my eyes. I tried my best to calm myself down. I saved everything in it. I wanted to call Nathan to confirm whether these were true or not, but I knew better. It wasn't necessary. 3 months ago, Nathan told me. He's been traveling a lot lately. He didn't have time for me. Suggested that I should go home and spend more time with my dad. So he sent me back to the Anderson family. Acted reluctant to let go. He always said to me, "Sophia, I'll take care of the company as soon as possible. And bring you back." "Sophia, without you. I can't sleep at night without you. I thought the wedding was coming up. He's so busy because he wants to spend more time with me. That's why I feel so sorry for him. I bring him lunch to the office every day, try not to disturb his work, but I never thought. Those days I didn't bother him. He is actually accompanying another woman, her circle of friends, and sent a new dynamic. I understand that this is specially for me to see. Honey, thank you for spending my birthday with me. The time was just now. After reading her friend's circle, I first felt angry. After that, gradually calmed down. Now reading them again, I don't feel anything anymore. She was sitting at the bar of the pub, drinking one drink after another. At this time, a voice came from behind. Miss Anderson has her moments when she's drinking to drown her sorrows. I turned my head to look. A little surprised, I asked, "When did you come back?" He replied, "A few days ago, came back for your wedding." Liam naturally sat next to me. Liam and I grew up together, sort of childhood sweethearts. Although he's a few years older than me, but I've never treated him as an older brother. We grew up as a pair of enemies, but the strange thing is, both parents liked us. My mom even thought for a while that Liam would be her son-in-law. Then Nathan and I got together. Not long after that, Liam also went abroad. Once I heard Liam's mom talking to my mom. She said that Liam decided to go abroad on his own. He wanted to go to a foreign subsidiary to train himself. You're right. Our family is nothing compared to the Anderson family. He's the one who's going to inherit billions of dollars. Where's your fiancé? How can you stay here alone? You want me to accept you again. The wedding is out of the question. As for your fiancé, he's probably at someone else's place right now. I shook my head with a bitter smile, probably because he thought I looked quite sad. This time, he actually didn't dig at me like usual. He asked me, "Liam, how do you think people can get so bad all of a sudden?" Liam said bluntly, "People don't suddenly become bad, they just do." He went on, Sophia, you've got a bad eye, you've been picking and choosing, you've picked a lousy one." "What do you mean, Liam?" "Liam, I'm having a hard enough time as it is." I stared at him angrily. Liam didn't say anything. He just handed me his cell phone. The content was interesting. The two of them were kissing by the fountain, laughing happily. Nathan in the photo still looks a bit young. It should be 3 years ago. I suddenly remembered. Not long after Liam left the country, he called me, asked me if I really wanted to be with Nathan. I thought Liam was jealous of me, so I said a few harsh words. The result made him so angry that he hung up the phone directly. Later, I devoted myself to Nathan. I didn't contact Liam again. In fact, it was all an illusion. That's what he was from the beginning. It's just that he was so good at it. So good that I never suspected a thing. I gave my cell phone back to Liam. Didn't say anything. I just drank quietly. Nathan didn't contact me all night. When I woke up again, I woke up to the phone ringing. It was ringing over and over again. I saw a dozen missed calls from Nathan on my cell phone. I hadn't planned on answering the phone. Just put it on mute. Let him keep calling. Eventually, the phone ran out of battery. I closed my eyes again and fell asleep. When I woke up again and went downstairs, I found a lot of things in the living room. "Sophia, look, Nathan asked his assistant to send these to me. They're all your favorites." My mom was sitting on the couch. She's looking at the boxes. He's always been like this. When he was chasing me, his company was growing. Every day was busy. But no matter how busy, he would come downstairs when I woke up, waiting in my living room, with my favorite West End pastries in hand. Every time we fight, he would buy my favorite clothes and some novelty gadgets to make me happy. During that time, his shadow seemed to be everywhere, always following me. After we got together, every time we quarreled or lost our temper, even if he is now the famous Nathan, he would put his foot down to coax me. "I don't want intimacy before marriage," he would say. "Sophia is so nice. I respect Sophia's idea." All the good memories of that day. He not only deceived himself, he also succeeded in deceiving me. Nathan was so busy traveling, he still thought of bringing you a gift. "Sophia, you should be more understanding." My mom advised me. She thinks I'm still playing with my temper. "Mom, don't worry about it." I went back upstairs to my room. "There are some things. Once you know the truth, you should end it right away. I understand that canceling the engagement now will bring a lot of trouble, but I just couldn't go on any longer." I dialed Nathan's number, intending to talk to him directly about the annulment. The phone didn't work. I contacted his assistant. The assistant said he was out of the office. I asked, "You'll be back the day after tomorrow? I'll come to you. Let's talk about breaking off the engagement." I waited until late. He didn't return my messages. "I'm going to Nathan's. Pack up my things and take them with me." Downstairs at Nathan's, I saw from a distance that the light was still on. The suspicion in my heart became more certain all of a sudden. I skillfully entered the password, opened the door. A pair of high heels sat in the foyer. The sweet, cloying scent of perfume, which I particularly hated, wafted through the air. I walked in. The woman on the couch saw me. She wasn't surprised. On the contrary, she was a little provocative. She says to me, "Sophia, hello, I'm Emily." Although I've known about this for a long time, but when I saw the exact same face on the photo, I couldn't help but feel a ripple in my heart. Nathan ran down the stairs in a hurry. He was only wrapped in a towel. He grabbed my wrist in a panic. He said urgently, "Sophia, let me explain." I broke free of his hand. My fingernails left a red mark on his arm. "You have to explain something. Why a man on a business trip would stay at home. Or why you have a woman at home. Emily had just returned home. She has no place to stay." I interrupt Nathan's explanation. "So what? So send me home. Told me you were traveling. But you actually brought her home to stay with you." Emily bursts out laughing. "Nathan, now that Sophia has seen it, let's not hide it from her." I'm in my pajamas, stepping on the carpet I chose, walked up to her, and said, "Sophia, you chose the couch and bed. I like them." Nathan suddenly turns pale. Shouted, "Emily, stop it." He tried to come forward to pull me. I hurriedly took a step back. I accidentally knocked over the picture frame on the table. The glass shattered all over the place. Inside was a picture of the two of us. I was smiling especially happily in the photo. Emily suddenly pulled open her collar, revealing some obvious marks. "Sophia may not know it yet. The day before yesterday was your anniversary, and yesterday she was next to Nathan," giggling softly in his ear. "Nathan and I tried it in every room." Slap, the sound of a crisp slap. Emily was slapped. She covered her face and fell to the couch. Nathan immediately rushes over to shield her, shouting at Sophia, "Are you crazy?" Sophia's palms are still tingling. She suddenly remembers 3 years ago. Nathan rushed out of the warehouse with her in his arms. Now he was holding another woman, and he's looking at her like she's crazy. "Nathan, let's break off the engagement. Let's break it off, Sophia." "Sophia, don't do this. We're going to be married soon, and now you're talking about breaking it off. What happened with Emily was an accident, Sophia." "Sophia, don't be so impulsive." Nathan came to me excitedly. He grabbed my shoulders. He said, "Nathan, I didn't tell the whole story. I've given you face. Let's break off the engagement. That's it. That's all." I didn't care how bad his face looked. I shook off his hand. I walked out of his house. Nathan was going to chase me, but Emily called out to him. "Nathan," he looked at my fading back. In the end, he didn't catch up. Liam walked me home. My dad bumped into him. My dad insisted on inviting him in for a while. I pushed open the door. I saw Nathan sitting in my living room. My mom was there too. My mom said, "This is Liam, right? Long time no see. He's still so handsome." Just like before. When my mom saw Liam, she was even more affectionate than she was with me. She went up to him. She took Liam to the living room. Nathan knows Liam, because when he was chasing me, Liam hadn't left yet. My mom was particularly fond of Liam. Plus, we grew up together. It made Nathan uncomfortable. Later on, I had less contact with Liam. That's why. Nathan has been here for a while. He said he wanted to talk to you about the wedding dress and the details of the wedding reception. I was momentarily surprised. Nathan is so thick-skinned. Look at him like this. Doesn't seem to be what Emily said. Didn't plan to marry me, seeing my calm expression. Not too many mood swings. He was relieved. I sat next to him, watched him discuss the wedding with my parents. Liam kept looking at me with mocking eyes. It made me feel a little ashamed. "Sophia, I think Nathan picked these out pretty well. Look at this." Nathan was the one who thought of it. She hands me the atlas. Liam comes over and looks at it. He said, "Auntie, this won't do. Sophia wants something unique. Words like thank you are too common." His words made Nathan beside him blush even more. Liam hadn't been back in a long time, but still knew Sophia well. Liam and Sophia grew up together, naturally familiar with each other. My dad followed beside him. My mom also smiled and nodded. What are Nathan's plans for his wedding day? Nathan sits up straight, showing a smile, said to my mom, "I certainly hope the sooner the better. Now basically all ready. Just need to choose a wedding dress and take wedding photos, and then setting a date." He didn't seem to realize his problem. Mom and Dad's eyes turned to me, waiting for me to respond. I looked at Nathan. He was caught cheating. Chose someone else. How can he come to my house as if nothing happened? How can he come to my house and discuss this with my parents? Discussing it with my parents. The things he did in secret to get the Anderson family. For profit. He doesn't even have a face anymore. I took the atlas from my mom. I put it on the table. Then I looked at them. I said, "I'm not getting married. I'm not getting married. No need to discuss it anymore." Except for Liam's calm expression, even a little happy. Everyone else is staring straight at me. "Sophia, Mom knows you've been fighting lately, but there's no need to be angry about it." My mom noticed something wrong with Nathan's expression. She advised me from the side. After all, so many years have passed. He is already the ideal son-in-law in my mom's mind. I interrupted her, not in anger. "It's really over. We won't be getting married." My mom was just about to speak. My dad stopped her. Nathan stood up suddenly. He pulled me out into the yard. "Sophia, just for Emily, you have to do this. We've been together for so long. You haven't let me near you. I'm a man." I didn't think he'd say something like that. We never got that far, because I had planned to stay until the end. I told him that too, and he agreed. And now he's making this kind of excuse. His attitude makes me feel very uncomfortable, seeing that I was silent. He suddenly started playing the emotional card, saying, "Have you forgotten that I once risked my life to save you? Can you, for the sake of the past, forgive me this time?" He made me angry and laugh. If I hadn't liked him in the first place, there was absolutely no need for me to repay him for saving my life by marrying him. We've been out too long. They were probably worried about me, just in time to walk out. I showed my parents the picture Emily sent me on my phone. I smiled at Nathan, said, "I don't want an unfaithful person, nor do I want to be with someone like that. Luckily, I found out in time. Otherwise, my life could have been ruined by you." Liam joked from the sidelines. "Nathan has a great body. It's between Sophia and me. You're meddling too much. Face the facts." Nathan couldn't explain it to my parents. He could only talk to Liam. Sophia's business. Nathan doesn't have to worry about it anymore. The engagement is off. No more weddings. My dad stood in front of me. He blocked Nathan's view. "Uncle, don't call me uncle. Let's call him Anderson. We don't know each other well." Finished speaking. He turned around and led us into the house, leaving Nathan alone outside the door. He had warned me before. Nathan is not a reliable person. Fortunately, it wasn't too late to find out. Back in the living room, my dad spoke to me in a heavy tone. Yes, he did. At first, my dad thought I was with Nathan because he saved me from the fire. That's why I stayed with him. He advised me many times, said that Guy wasn't right for me, but I kept insisting that I really liked him. Only then did he stop mentioning it. He slowly accepted it. When Liam left, Nathan was no longer in the yard. The next day at noon, I was getting ready to go out to the office to bring Dad his lunch. Saw Nathan's car parked out front. He looked in bad shape. When he saw me coming out, he blocked in front of me. "Sophia, don't lose your temper. I'm here to pick you up for your wedding dress fitting." "I've come to pick you up for your wedding dress fitting." "Nathan, what do you mean we're out of the engagement? For the past 3 months, you've been traveling and working late." "Is that really true?" "He says he's doing it for me, but who's lying in Emily's bed?" He lost his nerve. He had to explain. "Sophia, listen to me. Our current project is in cooperation with their company. I have to deal with her. Nathan is always looking for reasons. One day, another. Tomorrow, another excuse." I interrupted his defense, ready to walk away from him, but my arm was held tightly by him. I couldn't break free. "Sophia, have I treated you badly all these years?" He was so angry that he shouted at me. Good. So good that even the house I designed became someone else's. I suddenly remembered the way Nathan had coaxed me into drawing the design. He said, "What Sophia likes, that's what I like." He also said, "Of course, the check room has to be designed to your liking. Since then, I've been paying for others. You listen to me. As soon as the project is over, I'll be out of touch with her. Sophia, you have to believe me. I don't want to listen to Nathan's meaningless explanations." Just as I was trying to get away from him, suddenly someone grabbed his wrist, forcing him to let go of me. It's really sympathetic to see Nathan whispering here. That's not very nice. Liam pulls me behind him as soon as he can. Nathan saw the sudden appearance of Liam. His face immediately became ugly. "It's because of Liam. You want to break off the engagement with me, right? You couldn't stand me being with Emily. But what did you do?" When I heard those words, my heart is even colder. Since I've been with him, although I sometimes lose my temper and am capricious, but I'm also trying to change myself. Even his friends say, since I've been with Nathan, my temper is much better. Eventually, in his eyes, I'm just like him, are both prone to betraying their feelings, and he put all the blame on me. Liam just came back. "What's the problem? Don't you know it well? You don't think everyone else is like you. Really, you haven't even finished talking about you and Liam." Liam punched him in the face. Nathan stood up and tried to fight back. I rushed to get between them. "Sophia, I can't believe you really want to break off the engagement. You will definitely regret it." Nathan's furious look makes me doubt myself more and more. How could I have thought that he was a man worth trusting in the first place? "I'll regret it if I don't break off the engagement." "Nathan, you've been buying a lot of Anderson family stock in the last few months. What's your plan?" When I heard that, I immediately turned my head and stared at Nathan. He also froze. He also froze and quickly explained. Sophia, listen to me. I wanted to give these to you as a wedding gift. That's why I never mentioned it. He looked nervous. Stop it. I don't believe him at all. Instead of listening to him, I was more interested in hearing what Liam had to say. So I grabbed Liam and left in the car. I asked Liam, what did you mean by what you just said? Liam threw the bag of papers in front of me. It was full of records of Nathan and Emily's rooming trips, and records of Nathan's purchases for Emily. I've seen more exciting scenes than this with my own eyes. These little things don't touch me anymore. I skipped right over it. Why don't you take a look? Liam's beatific look made me kick him. I continued to scroll back. The mood is getting heavier and heavier. He quietly acquired the shares of the Anderson family minority shareholders behind their backs. Now do you believe it? At that time, Liam often told me before he left the country. Nathan had ulterior motives for me, but I never believed him. I thought Liam was jealous of me. He was deliberately bad-mouthing me. I told you he was unreliable. You didn't listen. You had to fall head over heels. Are you happy now? That's what annoys me most about him. He always talks aggressively, never gives in to me. Liam dropped me off at the office. I just walked into the office. I hadn't even gotten to my dad's office yet. I heard someone talking. I heard that Nathan is pulling out of the project. Is that true? Isn't Nathan married to the Anderson family? Why would he suddenly do something like this? I heard that their engagement has been broken off. Nathan has grown. It's no longer the small company it used to be in comparison. Anderson family seems to have been suppressed. If they suddenly withdraw their investment, it would be a big blow to the company. Sophia, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Is Nathan pulling out? I'm asking. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. My dad tried to put on a relaxed face. His furrowed brow made me realize he was facing a tough problem. I felt sad because I never expected my bad decision would lead to such a complicated situation. I also didn't expect Nathan to be so adamant. That's when the cell phone rang. I got a message. Sophia, let's have a nice chat. It was from Nathan thinking about the company. I decided to say yes to him. Since learning about his relationship with Emily, I haven't been able to face him honestly. Every time I see him, I feel especially uncomfortable, as if in self-torture. Scenes of him and Emily together always come to mind. We were sitting in a restaurant. This restaurant is my favorite. We spent all our major holidays and anniversaries here. The memories used to be great. But now, it's the past that you don't want to think about anymore, Sophia. Let's not break off the engagement. Let's not break off the engagement. Okay, you and Emily have known each other for a long time. Right, a long time ago. That's right, she was my ex-girlfriend. But Sophia, I promise you, I've never been with anyone but her in all these years. I've never been with anyone else. This look brings back memories when he told my parents, auntie and uncle, I will never let Sophia down in my life. Nathan, don't act like you love me. That's you out there. You're the one with ulterior motives. Don't tell me you bought the shares as a wedding present. I might have been fooled by you before, but now I'm not stupid. You know what you're up to. Right. The sudden withdrawal of the project is also something you did on purpose, right? I told him everything clearly. He was silent for a few seconds, then said, I did have other plans. Originally, I wanted to annex the Anderson family, but then when I wanted to marry you, I didn't intend to do anything. I've kept in touch with Emily all these years, but Sophia, I still love you in my heart. Otherwise, a young lady of your character who can stand it. He puts on a show of affection. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I've always been a spoiled person, growing up with my parents and Liam's tolerance. They always went along with me. He knew this long before he met me. That's when he said, it's that kind of personality that makes people cute. He liked me at first sight. But now, he says no one can stand my character. What about the project withdrawal? Hearing those words, Nathan suddenly burst out laughing. The laugh was a little sharp. He said, since you know all about it, then I won't beat around the bush. Sophia, I didn't want to bring things to this point. Now the Anderson family's project's capital chain has suddenly broken. The bank can't get a loan. It's a tough time. Think about it carefully. Change your decision. I never expected him to do something like this. I didn't understand at first. Why, after all these years? He kept in close contact with Emily, and yet he still clung to me. He even wanted to marry me. Nathan's current position wouldn't even be affected by whether or not the marriage contract worked out. Now, I probably understand something. He may not be with me just for the Anderson family. Maybe it's not just for the Anderson family. Maybe he does like me a little bit. Between Emily and me, In terms of status and appearance, I'm the better choice. But he also has feelings for Emily. There are some things I can't do for him. Emily still has use for him. He thought to himself, I'm sure I'll break off the engagement. But the company, I won't let you have your way. I don't want to tangle with him anymore. Didn't care about his reaction. Directly left the restaurant. The next few days, my dad went out early and came home late every day. Hardly ever saw anyone else. By the weekend, I suddenly received a message from Emily on my cell phone. She asked me to meet her. I ignored her because I didn't want to have any dealings with her. I didn't expect her to block my door directly, asked me, Sophia, why don't you want to meet me? Because it's not necessary. I interrupted her. I know Nathan is still thinking about you, but do you really think he's going to marry you? Don't get your hopes up. I've been by his side for a long time. He told me himself. Mrs. Nathan's place is reserved for me. He's with you. It's just for the benefit of the Anderson family. I listened to her warning. There was no reaction in my heart. If you really believe in the pie he painted for you, then why do you need to flaunt it in front of me? After all, I'm not the one who's pestering you right now. Right? I don't get it. Emily's family is not bad. Why would she be so determined to like such a man? But that's not true for everyone. Knowing that Nathan wouldn't really marry her and wouldn't really be with her, and yet to cling to him like this. Emily's face froze for a moment, didn't seem to expect me to be so direct. I only want to help my dad solve the company's current difficulties right now. Don't want to get entangled with her anymore. I sat in the car, ready to drive away. Emily came after me in her high heels, keeps tapping on my car door. Sophia, don't you want to know how to help the Anderson family? Hearing that, I rolled down the window. I smelled Emily's strong perfume. Nathan is trying to get you to stay married, but I don't want to. Lucas from Hewexin made a suggestion. If you're willing to join forces with him, his father will pay to help you. The young master of Hewexin Group has a bad reputation in the circle. Everyone knows he likes to womanize everywhere. He'll do anything. His reputation has been ruined for a long time. You don't know what you're doing. Nathan has already told us. Those people are not going to pay to save the Anderson family. This is the only way you can do it now. I knew she wouldn't say anything good. Emily, why don't you think about how to take care of yourself? As much as I want to help the Anderson family, I know my dad wouldn't want me to do it this way. My dad wouldn't want me to do it that way. I rolled up the window. I slammed on the gas and drove past her, leaving the sound of her screaming behind. I'm standing in front of my dad's office, just about to go in. Heard Nathan's voice from inside. Uncle, since you already know everything, then I'll get right to the point. I can refrain from divestment, but on the condition that Sophia and my engagement continues. Now that the acquired shares are only 8, I can stop. You don't want to do that. I could tell my father was angry. I knocked on the door, pushed the door in. When he saw me come in, my dad didn't want to continue where he left off. He said to Nathan, if it's okay, you can go. Nathan didn't respond. He just said, Uncle, the money chain is broken. Other companies won't be willing to invest. Why don't you think carefully about what to do next? Then he turned to me, Sophia, what do you say? As long as the engagement continues, all problems will be solved. Who says Liam's going to put up the money and the Anderson family? Liam's voice came from behind me. He suddenly appeared. I was a bit surprised. Uncle Anderson, Liam is willing to cooperate in this project. He didn't care about my surprised expression. Nathan's face didn't look good when he saw Liam. Hearing those words surprised him even more. His face also became more and more gloomy. He said, Sophia, you are really something. You're still related to Liam. My dad heard this at the side. He got even more angry. He said, Nathan, please leave the Anderson family now. Otherwise, I will call the security guards to ask you to leave. Nathan left with regret. Yes, he did. He knew that Liam and I grew up together, but he never knew who Liam really was, and he never had a chance to find out. Uncle Anderson, someone will come later to talk to you about the cooperation. I'll take Sophia away first. Sitting in the box, I asked him, why did you come all of a sudden? Sophia, why don't you ask me for help when you're in trouble? If I didn't come, what are you going to do? Liam stared at me like a fool. I don't want to bother you. I whispered. Liam's comment left me speechless for a moment. He was right. It was true that I hadn't been in trouble since I was a kid, even though the two of us never really got along growing up. But growing up, every time I got into trouble, he's the one who took the fall for me. It's not like he's ever had to worry about it. This time is different. Liam suddenly came closer. Their eyes met. Their noses almost touch. What's different? He asks. Sophia, you'd rather be threatened. You'd rather be threatened than ask me for help. I was startled by his sudden movement. My body leans back. My head thuds against the back of the chair. Liam sits up straight, gives a soft laugh. You're so silly. I'm not being charitable. Sophia, I'm on conditions. I agree. Face Liam. I don't hesitate. I know that. No matter what, he won't hurt me. He said that. On 2 conditions. First, you move in with me for a month, make me breakfast every day. You can keep your room. Good. I guessed he'd try to toss me around. His family has always kept a room for me. When I was a kid, whenever I fought with my parents, I'd go to his place to hide. As for making breakfast, as long as he's willing to eat, I'm not afraid to do it. What about the second one? Nathan found out somewhere that I'd moved to Liam's. It's already the 3rd day. As for the second question, let's put it aside for now. We'll talk about it later. I saw him as soon as I left the house. I felt unlucky. Sophia, you've been in love for a long time. You've been living in his house. I didn't realize he was a Liam. It's probably because of his position. I'm not as good as him. That's why you chose him. Nathan has dark circles under his eyes. Looks like he didn't sleep well. I heard he's been busy bidding for land in the south of the city, and he got screwed by Liam. Now the company is strapped for cash. He's trying to find a solution. Liam came out from the back. He said, "It's good that Nathan understands. I'm better than him in everything. He's still out there messing with people. Sophia knows who to pick even if she's stupid." I glared at him. I said something back. "Who's stupid? Don't be too proud of yourself. Even so what? She loved me for 3 years, 3 years between us. It's all over. Who hasn't been wrong about someone?" Liam didn't wait for him to finish. She interrupted him. "Sophia, I'm done with you and Liam. We're done. Okay, come back to me." Nathan's cell phone rings. It's Emily. He glanced at the screen, didn't answer. The ringing continues. "Nathan, answer it now. They want to talk to you." Nathan answered the phone. His expression slowly became a little unnatural. After hanging up, he only said, "I won't give up. He's gone." "Where did you say he went?" "I'm curious." What could have made Nathan leave so dryly? Liam chuckled. "It's not clear. The other day when I went to the hospital to pick up my mom's medical report, I happened to see Emily go into the OB/GYN. Shortly after that, I read about Nathan and Emily's engagement. Liam and I both received invitations. Out of curiosity, we decided to attend. On the day of the engagement party, Emily had a happy smile on her face, but Nathan's face didn't look so good. She came up to me, said, 'Welcome Sophia to my engagement party with Nathan. I am pregnant.' She gently covered her stomach with her hand, a smug smile on her face, said, 'Congratulations, married with a baby.' Liam was still speaking unforgivingly. Emily's expression became unnatural. She stopped making a fool of herself. She turned around and went back to the banquet hall to continue to greet the guests. I felt too bored, so I walked to the yard, saw Nathan standing under the tree. I turned around to leave, but he stopped me. "Sophia, you really think Liam is sincere to you? He had someone buy the shares I was holding. He also took away all the other shares. So what? I trust him. No matter who harms me, he won't. He seemed to be angered by my words. He's very emotional. Sophia, don't fall for his tricks. Just say the word. I'll cancel the engagement party right away. Let's just do what we did before." "Okay," I pointed to the people behind him. I said, "Why don't you talk to your fiancé?" Emily walked over to Nathan with a pale face. Nathan doesn't seem to care. "Sophia, you need to stop pestering Nathan. He's my fiancé now." Her words left me speechless for a moment. I just couldn't figure out how anyone could be so confused. I didn't do anything, but I have to take the blame for someone else. Liam appeared beside me at an unknown time. He said, "Emily, don't think too much. Emily, don't think too much. Sophia's not blind. Nathan should worry more about his own company. If you hadn't saved Sophia back then, I wouldn't have let you off so easily. Next time, it won't be so easy. I'm not going to be so easy next time." He pulled me away from the party. The two of us in the car were silent. Until the car stopped in front of the Anderson family, I asked, "Is there nothing you want to say?" Liam handed me a file. I said, "Sophia, it's time for you to fulfill the second condition." I opened the document. It was a transfer of Liam's shares. "The condition is to be with me. It's a bride price." I didn't think Liam would think of that. It's not that I didn't think about it. I was just worried that it would affect our relationship, so I never dared to think about it. In fact, I may not have no good feelings for Liam. At that ignorant age, I was surrounded by such a wonderful person. How could I not be attracted to him? I just wasn't sure if he felt the same way about me. I was worried that these thoughts would make things awkward between us. Then Nathan came along. I just didn't care about the heartfelt feelings anymore. I said seriously, staring into Liam's eyes, "Good, I'll agree to the terms." He obviously didn't expect me to agree. First, he froze for a moment. Then he smiled and said, "This time you see clearly. Speaking still doesn't sound too good. But it's okay. Time is still long. I'll find a chance to return the favor sooner or later." The day Liam and I had our engagement party, Nathan came. He kept begging me. He asked me not to get engaged to Liam and asked me to wait for him. Liam asked the security guards to drive him away. Since then, I never saw him again. Then Liam told me Nathan and Emily didn't take long to get married. The preparations before they got married. It was actually arranged when Nathan and I were still together. Even their wedding room was also designed by me before. Emily argued with Nathan several times because of these things. She and Nathan argued several times. Once I accidentally pushed Emily. As a result, she had a miscarriage. Then I heard that Nathan never came home. He had affairs with many women. And Emily went to the office every day to argue with Nathan like a whiny bitch. On the day Liam and I got married, I received an anonymous gift. It was a brooch. It was made by my favorite store. Then the store closed. I can't find it anymore. I regretted it for a long time. I mentioned it to Nathan. He promised to find it for me, but I never found it. Liam snatched it out of my hand, threw it into the trash. "It's so ugly. You still like it. Look at his unhappy face." I couldn't help but laugh. "I don't like it anymore. I'm only interested in things that are tasteful now. These things aren't really ugly. It's just no longer to my liking now."